Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. We ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now, hey, boxing legend, legendary promoter Bob Arum. You know, Bob Arum is 92, 93 years old. So Bob Arum knows what he's been up to. But also, you know, all this experience and being 90 something years old, you're going to have to bring a little understanding for things that Bob Arum is going to say or do that you're not going to agree with. You know, I'm a couple of generations below him, and most of y'all probably a couple of generations below me. So we're not going to all come from the same background or the same time and believe the same things. Because this, you know, what Bob Arum just said, is something I don't believe. But I can understand where he's coming from. Bob Arum's latest thing he said was Naoya Inoue, the guy they call the monster, down in those lower weight divisions. He said he's the best ever. Ever. He's the best ever. Right? You know what I'm saying? Now, how do you, you know what I'm saying? Wherever you are, whoever you are, however you look, do you agree with that? If you have any boxing knowledge. Now, if you don't know the monster's bad. It's a bad boy. Has a lot of boxing skill and a lot of power. But he's down at them weights, 115, 118, 122, stuff like that. And I think he was even at 112. There's a lot of weight divisions down that low. And my belief, from what my experience is, you hardly ever see that lower weight divisions, a lot of them in the pound for pound. There's not that many fighters that are super elite at that level. So he's down there dominating, and you can't blame him. He's dominating, but I've watched enough of Inoue to say that he's good. He's two division undisputed in two separate divisions. And he's beating good fighters. And I'm going to say one, Steve Fulton, who was the weight division higher than him. He came up from 18 to 22. Steve Fulton, we thought, was going to give him all he can handle. He beat the hell out of him. Right? That's a big win. It's going to remain a big win. We ain't going to say after the fact that Steve Fulton wasn't all that. Steve has come on and got a couple of wins after that. Big win, among others that Inoue has fought. But here's where you start. When you start talking about greatest of all time, then you're going to have distance. Now, I can also remember, you know, we just gave him props to Steve Fulton. Nonito Donaire, their first fight. I think Nonito Donaire in the first fight was high 30s, 38 or something like that, if not 40, but I'm just going to go with about 38. Nonito Donaire damn near fought him to a draw, broke his eye socket in a very close fight. You know what I mean? So we're talking like the best ever. No, Inoue's last fight, he was knocked down in the fight. You know what I mean? So there's not that much distance. You know, he's the baddest one down there, but he's been in some close fights. You know, he's been in a few close fights, and so there's not that much distance there. Matter of fact, he's about to fight his mandatory. This is supposed to be a bad boy. Let's see how this one turns out. But when you start talking about, even if you said he was the best now, I don't agree. He ain't better than Terrence Crawford. You know, he ain't better than Alexander Usyk. There's a lot of distance in weight divisions where there's a whole lot of bad dudes. You know, a whole lot of bad dudes. We could take Crawford's name out of that and mention the dudes he beat and mention the dudes Usyk beat. And you're talking a whole bitch. And then with the distance that they beat them in, right? You know, you hard pressed, right? So I don't think Monster is the best ever. But I've seen Bob Arum say this before when he saw Lomachenko. All right, Lomachenko comes out and thought he was the baddest one and lost his second fight to Orlando Salido, who at the time had 13 losses. Right? But Lomachenko came on to do some good things, but he was saying he was the best ever too. This is a guy who knows Roy Jones, knows, you know, Bernard Hopkins, knows Terrence Crawford, knows Floyd Mayweather, you know, best ever. You know, Bob Arum, we can go back. Bob Arum knows all of the Ali's and the George Foremans and all that stuff too, the Oscar De La Hoyas and the Pernell Whitakers and all that good stuff back then. Sugar Ray Leonard's, Marvin Hagler's, James Toney's, Young. He knows all that. He's seen all that. And he can look at this guy and say he's better than all them. It's just Bob Arum, guys. I just want to say that because I ain't gonna get on Bob Arum right now. He's just said a lot of stuff. We do know, some of the past of Bob Arum. He knows, he's ran top rank. He's been in the business for a while. We know that he had no black fighters on his billboard. Didn't want people to fight against black fighters. They knew that they were good. He'd tell you right away. We've heard it all, that he knows anybody. What was his quote? You see a black dude on the corner and ask him to throw out a jab and it's gonna come like a real jab. They have real respect for black fighters. So there's a certain thing going on there with Bob Arum. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I just don't agree with the best ever. If he's gonna, matter of fact, I don't even agree with the best right now. I would put Inoue in my particular pound for pound. I would put him at number 5. Pound for pound right now. That's just me, because Crawford's 1 and Usyk's 2, or you can interchange those. I'm going with Bivol number 3. I'm just going with Bivol, man, and I've got to go with Better at number 4. Then I got Inoue. And then after that, we can discuss all the other stuff that's popping off. You guys, after number 5, then it just kind of opens up as far as I'm concerned, right? But those top 5 is 5. Everybody else, from 6 on down, you can go yes or no to anybody, right? But that's how I would go. So yes, this is another Bob Arum thing. We're gonna leave Bob alone, man. At 92, 93 years old, you say things and do things. You've been through it a lot. You've been born a long time ago. I forget the dude name. What was the dude, the Clippers owner, who came out and said some stuff back in the day? But if you think about it, the man was born in the 30s. You know what I mean? He was born before World War II. So he's seen some stuff before segregation. Just all kind of stuff. So when people get a little older, they've seen things, and the new stuff that's coming out, there's every 10 years, there's some new stuff that we can't keep up with. People that's 20 years younger than me can't keep up with what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to get into it, but you just things. You can't call a dude or a girl, and it's a lot of stuff that you can't keep up with because you come from a different time. So we're gonna have to just go ahead and say, okay, he's old, and he's gonna be stuck in his ways. Bob Arum says some stuff, but he comes from knowledge. But this kind of thing right here is just, do you agree with it? Let's just go do like that. Do you agree that Monster Inoue, maybe you gotta go YouTube him or something, is the best fighter ever? I don't. He's not even the best fighter right now. But he's a damn good, exciting fighter. That I will agree with. But the best ever, not even close. Not even close. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.